Hi ladies and gentlemen, Spinny here with even more questions to answer, way more than the last time. But first, thank you all so much for 50,000 subscribes, well, 52,000. Point is, we're halfway to the silver badge. And what can I say to demonstrate my gratitude to all of you? I can't believe we actually reached this milestone. I just like talking about video games, what makes them good, what makes them bad, their history, and make the best looking video possible to further explain my point. But to have that many people subscribe to it is something I never would have thought was possible. It feels like I have too many. And because I've enjoyed the journey, it feels like I got this far overnight. Again, massive thanks. Let's hope we can reach another milestone sooner than later. And now to the questions. The first one is from Douglas Undell. Is Rockstar your favorite gaming publisher, considering the number of reviews you have done on them? I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite. Obviously, Rockstar Games have produced a ton of masterpieces. And my first ever review was GTA San Andreas because it's one of my top 5 all-time favorites. But one of the main reasons I reviewed so many of their games is because looking at the view count of them, along with the Need for Speed series, that's exactly what you guys want me to review. So I feel like it's my duty to oblige. To answer the question, it's a 50-50 between Rockstar Games and Sony Interactive Entertainment. Why Sony? Because I stuck with the PlayStation 1 right up to the 4th one, and they continue to produce some incredible titles to this day. And my favorite developer from Sony would be Naughty Dog. Like Rockstar, 3 of their games are in my top 15, and I've reviewed everything they made for the PlayStation except for, as of this Q&A video, Jak X Combat Racing and Uncharted Lost Legacy. The next few are from Ruffian Shark. If you had to review a movie trilogy on this channel, what would it be and why? I'm gonna break the rule a bit and pretend the question is a movie franchise. Alien. There's a lot to talk about, it's a dark giant universe, the first 2 movies are some of the best I've ever seen, and the rest of the series, including the prequels, create a lot of polarized opinions that make me extremely curious and interested, thanks in small part to the YouTube channel Alien Theory. On top of that, there are plenty of video games from that franchise to review as well, like the Alien Trilogy, Alien Resurrection, a re-review of 2010 Aliens vs Predator, Infestation, Isolation, etc. Other movie franchises I would like to review are The Godfather, Christopher Nolan's Batman Dark Knight, Jackass, and The Lord of the Rings. Do you have any pets? As of this video, I have 3 dogs, 2 cats, 3 horses, and 6 cows. You a coffee or tea guy? This might shock a lot of you, and anyone who knows me thinks I'm crazy for this, but I'm neither. I literally don't drink any hot liquids whatsoever. Coffee, tea, hot chocolate, etc. 98% of the time I drink milk and water. That's it. Seriously. And it probably comes from having braces when I was in high school when they were the only things I could drink. But at least my teeth are grateful for it in the long run. The next few are from Carl Mackie Peltridge again. What's your earliest memory of a video game? I actually explained this in my Sega Mega Drive review in 2016. It was that console at my grandma's house, God rest her soul, and the first couple of games I remember the earliest were Columns, the first Sonic the Hedgehog, and Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. This was when I was a toddler. In fact, that's why I reviewed Columns in 2017, knowing it wasn't going to get many views, because it was the earliest gaming memory I can remember. I simply wanted to, and because it was a puzzle game, it only took a couple of days. Then my parents got a Mega Drive in 97, 98, which came bundled with Toy Story, because I loved that movie as a kid. Can't believe I can remember that, but that was the shit at the time. And I think we just borrowed other games from families and friends. Any plans on merch? That logo would be awesome on a t-shirt or mug. It would be awesome, but not until I get close to hundreds of thousands of subs or even 500,000 will I think about it. I just like to talk about video games, and I want to wait until I reach the mini documentary on gaming locations first before thinking about merch. And finally, was there a game that used to scare you as a kid? Nope, because most of the ones that could legit scare you, age-wise I wouldn't have been allowed to play them anyway. The Last of Us is honestly the closest to that, and I was an adult when it came out, so simple answer, no. The next few questions are from Stop on Air. Thanks for correcting me, mate. Wouldn't be surprised if I mispronounced it again. What sort of music do you listen to? Hard rock, prog rock, heavy metal, prog metal, thrash metal, groove metal, etc. You get the idea. I'm definitely a metalhead. Highly energetic, it's all I listen to do when I work out, and thinking about it, it just gives me that little extra confidence. I think the seeds were planted by the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series during the PlayStation 1 years with its rock and punk, but I only started listening to it seriously just as I began high school and never looked back. I have too many favorites to name, so I'll just say my number one, which is Iron Maiden. They were practically the only shirt I wore when I was on camera on the first year of the channel, and from my experience, they will always put on the most epic show when you see them even today. What would you be doing if not YouTube? When I was studying university, I was planning on finding a job on facility management like a stadium or exercise center, but now that I've gained plenty of experience with film editing and enjoy doing that a lot more, that would be something I would do for a sports organization or movie or TV show, something like that if YouTube didn't exist. And are there any videos or ideas that you've tried to get out but didn't finish for whatever reason? I think the most notable example that comes to mind is the LA Noire review, which I have done. However, I actually began writing the script on the first year of the channel and had plans to film a parody interrogation scene. But because I had no real camera or confidence to do it, and I was still using Windows Movie Maker at the time, yes, really, it was just more work than it was worth, especially now that I've reviewed the game without it, and runtime is still over half an hour. Another one is Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, because going back to Kyle's question, that was one of my earliest gaming memories. I have nearly 1,000 words of notes before I even created the channel, but after reviewing its predecessor Miracle World in 2016 with the intention of reviewing Enchanted Castle next, for over a year it got only 40 views, and even today it has less than 600 views, so I thought it would be a waste of time. In fact, almost anything Sega related on this channel apart from Sonic the Hedgehog and the Mega Drive review has less than 1,000 views. That's about it, honestly, because even then I still have the notes, so it doesn't mean I've scrapped it. It just means whenever I change my mind, I already have a decent head start on them. I only mentioned Alex Kidd because that's the game I'm least likely to review based on what you guys want me to review. And the last question is from Subtitles. What are your least favorite games of all time? Like complete disappointments. The least favorite games. Well, it would be easier to list the worst games like Big Rigs and Bubsy 3D, but fortunately I never wasted my time on that garbage, so I'll only mention what I've actually played. Army Men Team Assault, a very obscure PS1 game that came out in 2001 when the PS2 was already out. I reviewed it a while ago, played it a fair bit as a kid, but in hindsight it's aged dreadfully. But this game is bad in a way that it's like, what do you expect? And same with Rogue Warrior, a foul-mouthed, glitchy, unstable first-person shooter that takes less than a couple of hours to beat without even literally firing a bullet. I'm serious about the latter. Other dishonorable mentions include The Order 1886 and Mass Effect Andromeda. The latter is the reason I don't review games brand new these days. In hindsight, I would be way more critical of it when I reviewed it back in 2017. I just wanted to upload a review of a new game fast in the hope of getting views, which was a bad idea. Honestly, there aren't that many games I played that I dislike so much since I don't buy games for the sake of it. Like, I don't have any shovelware in my collection and I don't want to have too many bad games thrown in there too. I'm not the angry video game nerd. Plus, if there was something I played as a kid that was bad, I didn't think about it that much and just persevered, like Bubsy for example, which means I strangely don't mind that game today despite how rubbish it is. And there's another I have plenty of notes for but won't be reviewing anytime soon. That was a lot of questions this month, so thanks guys. But now I want to get serious about how I'm going to plan things for the next couple of months. Supporters already know this, but I've decided that after this month's Q&A, and one more in a month or 2 or 3, I'll be doing these less frequently, like a couple of times a year. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to release 3 reviews a month, which is a tall order in itself, but these Q&As make it impossible to do that. And there's a good chance that this current way of doing things is going to mentally burn me out in the near future. Especially if I'm doing all these videos by myself, including the Q&As, therefore reduce the review quality. I'm also close to beating Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's destined to become the longest review ever on this channel, and I want to put as much quality time into it as I can, in addition to attending PAX Australia the full weekend mid-October. Last year it took me nearly 4 weeks to review GTA 5 without any distractions. Open world games take a long time to make reviews for, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is in a league of its own content and size-wise. realize. And I know that all you ladies and gentlemen have wanted me to review it ever since it came out, so I want to give myself that space to not mentally burn myself out and make the best review possible. I've played Red Dead 2 since May, slowly chipping away at it while reviewing other games, and plan to release a review of it before the first anniversary, then Oddworld Abe's Odyssey near Halloween. Not exactly a horror themed game, but it's the Patreon request for this month. Once I finally review those games, it'll be business as usual again. In fact, I plan on returning to the Need for Speed series straight after, so it's going to be an insane 2 to 3 months. Thanks for watching and get excited. Again, I'll be attending PAX at Melbourne this October, not as a guest, but an attendee just promoting Colorshed and experiencing what the expo has to offer, so hopefully I'll say hi to some of you guys there. Speak to you soon, and thanks again for 50,000 subscribers. You're all the best.